Hey G fans, Gojifan1993 here, and welcome to day 28 of Godzilla-Thon 2014. Today we will be taking a look at Godzilla Tokyo SOS, also I think known as Godzilla X Mothra X Mechagodzilla Tokyo SOS. It's a long title as well. But yeah, so holy crap, guys. We are on the second to last film of the classic Godzilla films. I'm going to call them well, not really the classics, but the original three series before we get to the Return of the King, Godzilla 2014. And oh my god, I'm getting so tired. I'm actually really happy that I'm like almost done with this because like I said, when I didn't plan this Godzilla-Thon out really well, so I'm kind of tired. But yeah, so alright, first off, I rewatched this on the Blu-ray version of the new combo pack. And this time I actually wasn't that surprised at the quality. I wasn't as happy with it. It kind of looked the same as the 50th anniversary standard DVD version. There really wasn't that much of a difference, which kind of sucks, but you know, I mean, I'm not that picky about it because, you know, how much can you make a movie from 2003 look better? I mean, you know. So anyways, yeah, especially when, you know, they filmed it, HD wasn't a thing pretty much when they filmed this, so. But yeah, so this is basically a continuation of Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. It takes place like a year later, and what happens is that they find a way to shoehorn Mothra in, and Mothra's come down to this character who was in the original Mothra movie back in 1960. Oh, I think it was 1961. I'm not sure. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. But she comes back and she talks to the original character who was one of the main characters in there, and he's now an old guy. He has a grandson, he has a son, and his son is the one of the mechanics on Kiryu that we never heard of in the first one. So there's a lot of new characters that are introduced, and the only returning characters in this are the Central Command guys, obviously, and then the pilots, the three pilots, and all the main protagonist from the last film. She gets like a short little cameo here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so now the main character is the son who is the mechanics. His name, you know, I don't remember his name, because like I said, this one isn't my favorite. I prefer Mechagodzilla, or I prefer Against Mechagodzilla than Tokyo SOS. Just because it was more focused around Godzilla and Mechagodzilla and just the classic battle between them. But this one definitely puts in more. There's more of a message in this one. There's more symbolism. There's more spiritualness to it, and I like that. You know, because I like films that have the good metaphors and all that stuff. But then again, I also like watching just a cool little monster romp, and this didn't really have it for me. There's only one main battle in this whole movie. There's not really any, like, you know, oh, first encounter and all this, because obviously Godzilla's resting because, you know, in the last film, basically Kiryu shot the Absolute Zero in the water, and it created like this whole crystal mountain looking thing and just exploded, and Godzilla got the huge scar. Now his scar is kind of, if you can see on the figure here, he's got his scar. It's not that red in the movie. I don't know why Bandai painted it like that, but I think it looks cool. So yeah, Godzilla's healing up. They're trying to repair Kiryu. Obviously, Kiryu lost his arm, so they're trying to repair that. And then they find out that they don't have enough resources to give him back his Absolute Zero cannon. So they end up just making it this maser cannon looking. It's just more maser power, I guess. So they take away that feature, which kind of sucks because the Absolute Zero gun was a really cool idea. But you know, I don't know why they took it out of this one. So Kiryu is a little bit dumbed down in this one as well. They say that he's not as functional, that they can't figure out a way to, you know, or well, he can, you know, move around, but without the Absolute Zero cannon, he's kind of a sitting duck, and it's just kind of, you know, they're scattered, obviously, and it makes sense. I mean, the last battle was pretty harsh on Kiryu and all that stuff, so it makes sense that they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we repair Kiryu and all this stuff, and they're on a time crunch because they find out that Godzilla's coming back. And also they're finding out that Mothra is coming here to tell them that you have to return the bones of the original Godzilla back into the water because humans cannot tamper with the dead. And it makes sense. I mean, this is, you know, it's a wonderful metaphor. It's awesome how, you know, they're talking about, you know, humans can't basically play God, is what they're saying, and I really like that. But you know, I still don't see any reason that Mothra has to be in this film. And I know that she's in the film because, you know, connections with the original Mothra movie and, you know, having the whole metaphor of the twins coming down and saying, look, you gotta return the bones. But I'm just saying, it just takes away from what the first movie had, you know, with just the rivalry between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. And I don't know, I don't know, it bugs me. So, anyways, the main battle though is a pretty long battle. It actually basically takes up the second half of the whole movie, it's, you know, it starts out with Godzilla fighting Mothra rather than Kiryu, and you know, Mothra's trying to fend off Godzilla, and then she ends up, you know, obviously the tradition where she kicks Godzilla's ass a little bit, but then Godzilla gets the upper hand, and then she starts, you know, throwing out her yellow scales, which is, you know, her last defense, or, you know, the gold scales, not yellow, gold scales. You know, then the commander-in-chief, he says, you know what, enough is enough. Let's get Kiryu out there because we gotta save Mothra, because I guess he remembers something. I don't know. He remembers, I mean, they all remember what Mothra did to Tokyo back in the 60s, but, you know, now they're saying, well, now Mothra's trying to help us and we should help her. So they get Kiryu back out there, and, you know, like I said, it's just not that good of a battle as it was in the previous film. Like, I was bored. I mean, and that's the thing about Tokyo SOS. It has a really good story. I was actually more involved with the characters and the story in this film rather than the monsters themselves. Like, I actually enjoyed the character story more. Like the scene with the engineer guy, or the mechanic guy, talking to the main protagonist of the last movie, the female pilot. That scene right there is awesome because it's foreshadowing. It's like, oh, the mechanic will soon be the pilot, because he does end up piloting Kiryu at the end. And I really like that scene. Like, they're on the bridge, they're looking at Kiryu, you know, while he's being repaired, and there's sad music, somber in the background, and you know, they're talking about, you know, well, what if Kiryu doesn't want to fight anymore, and what if he just wants to rest, and blah blah blah. And I really like that scene. It was really good. But like I said, it's just that when the final battle happens, you know, it's cool, but it has way too many human interruptions. Like, you get 5 seconds of some monster brawling, and then all of a sudden it has to cut to some human-related story. And I'm thinking, why couldn't they edit it to where they would have showed more human stuff, and then just get to the monster fight? Just show that and stop going back and forth. I mean, I felt like I was watching Star Wars Episode 1, where there was like 4 different things going on at the same time, and they had to edit, like, they went back and forth, and it was very, you're like, you can't focus on one thing because they constantly are changing back and forth with these storylines, and you're like, okay, just focus on something. And that's why I like the previous film, because there was a little bit of human interruption, but it was mainly focused. There's the battle, let's focus on the battle. This one, it's just so back and forth. When I had to edit this for my custom DVDs that I made, I literally had to pause and trim and cut like every 5 seconds, and to get a streamlined fight scene of SOS. And when I finally was able to edit it together to where I was able to get the full movie, or the full fight scene just with the fight scenes, it looked really good. And I wish the real movie would have been like that, but there's just way too much human interruption. And it also follows the same pattern, kind of like the previous film, where Kiryu gets hit really badly. And what's really cool, though, I do have to admit, the choreography with this one, where Godzilla trips Kiryu and then he falls forward and then Godzilla just turns up and blasts his face, that was awesome. I really like that. But Kiryu gets, you know, when he gets blasted like that, Kiryu all of a sudden is, you know, unoperational. He stops working, and then we have this big break where, you know, the mechanic has to go in and fix Kiryu, and that happened the exact same thing in the previous film, where Kiryu got hit really badly and he was unoperational, and they had to go and get a mechanic, or someone had to go inside Kiryu and fix him. And it's like they're just, it's like the same thing, but obviously the difference is that this time, while they're fixing up Kiryu, oh yeah, there's 2 Mothra larvae that end up popping up, and they end up trying to get Godzilla, and it's basically a homage to Mothra versus Godzilla, where they start webbing him up, and this is just the thing that boggles my mind, is how Godzilla, the king of the monsters, gets his ass owned by 2 little turds. I don't get it. But anyways, so then the film gets really preachy. It gets really somber where towards the end of the battle, Godzilla's all webbed up and Kiryu takes control again, where he doesn't go crazy like he did in the first one, but he just goes, he remembers, oh, I'm Godzilla again, so, what I do like is that one where Kiryu's like red line is on his face. If you can see right there, the red line. What I liked is that you can actually see that he's actually crying, and when he's crying, the red line glows. I don't know, that was kind of cool. And then he just brings him into the ocean, and poof, right into the ocean they go, and they both rest. And the thing is something that I don't understand too is that the mechanic, I can't believe I keep on forgetting his name, but he goes into Kiryu and he tries to fix Kiryu up, and then all of a sudden the hatch door is like, it gets like broken or locked or something like that, and he can't get out, and he doesn't say to anything. He doesn't go on the comm and say, oh, hey, the hatch is broken, can someone like help me get out? He just stays in there and acts like he got out. Then Kiryu's flying over the ocean and they're about to go in, and then when one of the female pilots asks, are you still in? Oh, Chuzo, whatever. I think I remember it. It starts with like a chew or whatever. Anyways, they ask him like, "Are you in there?" And he doesn't say anything. You better tell me if you're in there. And then he's just like, "Yes, I'm in there. The hatch won't open." And then she's right. She's like, "Why didn't you tell me in the first place?" And then she ends up shooting the little hatch. It breaks the door open, and now he is able to get out. But if they wouldn't do that, all of a sudden he's just like, no, he's like, "I'm ready to die. I'll go down with Kiryu." And I'm like, why? Why make an unnecessary sacrifice? What is that gonna do? I mean, Kiryu's already automatically controlling himself, so he's just gonna go in the ocean. Like, why are you saying I'm gonna have to die? That's a pointless death. But at least, he gets out and all that stuff. And a really interesting thing is that when he's about to drop from the hatch, if you have to kind of turn your head to read this message that Kiryu said, and it says sayonara. Oh, I forgot the name. It says sayonara something, and I bet it's a reference to the first film, someone in the first film or something. Yoshita. Was that what it was? Anyways, someone can tell me in the comments what it was. So I guess it was like a nod to the first film or something relating to whatever that was. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's not, in my opinion, it's not as good as Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla, but it's definitely, it definitely, ties all the knots, and it's a conclusion to the Kiryu, I guess I would say, Kiryu storyline, because this was it for Kiryu, and yeah, and I wonder if Toho if this was supposed to be the last film. I'm not sure, because obviously Final Wars is next, and I'm trying to think, like, because I don't know if Tokyo SOS was successful when it came out. I don't know if it was. I mean, most of these Millennium films, they didn't do well. I mean, that's why it just kind of fell off, like the Millennium series was just that, come on, keep on trying to make movies, no, it's not working, I mean, that's why the Showa, it was good, Heisei, it was, there you go, but the Millennium just kind of, because they just, I don't know, but so yeah, Tokyo SOS, it's not bad, the story's really good, it ties up all the knots, but in my opinion, not as good as Against Mechagodzilla. Yeah, and I just hate how they keep on shoehorning in Mothra every chance they get. I'm sorry, I don't have anything against Mothra, I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. I've always had that problem with Mothra. She's just in every film just because. I mean, it's I don't know. It's actually, it's kind of the same with Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, because I actually just received my Blu-ray copy of the Kraken one, and she's in that one as well for like 5 seconds. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyways, but that's my review. That's all I got for it. So, holy crap, guys, one more movie to go, and that's Godzilla Final Wars, and then we are at the Return of the King 10 years later. Whew. Alright, so hope you guys are excited for the finale of Godzilla-Thon 2014 for tomorrow. I won't be connecting Godzilla 2014 to this Godzilla-Thon thing, because I don't know, I just feel like I want to do a review of like just on its own. I don't want it really to be connected to this, because it's not, because it's a new film, so I don't, anyways, I babble on and on. So yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow for Godzilla Final Wars. Stay big, G fans.